You're listening to Blue Collar CEO, the podcast that's all about helping you build a better, more profitable, and more sustainable home service business. Each week, we'll cover a different topic that will help enable your company to move forward to success. And here's your host, Ryan Redding.
What is up, Blue Collar CEOs? It's Ryan, and really, really awesome being with you again today. Today, I'm having not one, not two, but three different dudes from Authority Brands. These guys are going to be responsible for some of the largest brands in the home services space. These are going to be brands like Benjamin Franklin. They're going to be brands like Mr. Sparky, 1 Hour. There's a whole family of franchises beyond just plumbing, HVAC, and electrical that I just rattled through. Point being, we're going to be talking a lot today about franchising, because for a lot of people, franchising makes a lot of sense as opposed to like starting your business from scratch. Because when you partner with a franchise, you have all their experience, you have all their processes, you have all their training, you have all their coaching. Everything that you need to succeed as a business comes with what you purchase as a franchise. So I'm going to introduce you to Chad, Alan, and Michael. These guys are going to be like a wealth of knowledge, and I want to encourage you that if this sounds like something that makes sense for you, we're going to have a link in the show notes. Hit these guys up, schedule a 15-minute call. It could possibly change your life. Let's get going. All right, guys. I have been looking forward to this ever since we saw this on the calendar. I was like, so excited to talk to you. And this is cool because there's three of you in three different locations. So this is going to be just a lot of fun, and hopefully it's not chaos the entire time. But before we hop on in, I'm curious if you guys wouldn't just really quickly say who you are and what you do. And I'm just going to randomly pick an order here. So I'm going to go Alan, mainly because you're my top right. So that's the end of my logic.
Yeah. I'm Alan. I'm the lead development representative for Authority Brands, trade brands. So that's Mr. Sparky Electric, Ben Franklin Plumbing, and 1 Hour Heating and Air, of course. I come from a background of blue collar work. I've been an electrician for the past 7 years and wanted to basically just spend more time with my family. I was spending a lot of time on the road, out of town, leaving when the sun's down and coming home when the sun's down, and just wasn't too happy with that life, and found the position in this lovely franchise world, and I've kind of just fallen in love with it, man. Just found a passion for helping other people achieve their dreams of being a business owner. I mean, it's pretty rewarding to hear these people and make those dreams come true.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, good to have you on. All right, Michael, I'm going to jump to you, man. Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. My name is Michael Hutchins, and I am responsible for the growth of the 1 Hour brand across the country. I'm a 20-plus year franchising veteran. I've been both an individual producer and someone who has led, multiple teams in 2 different countries. I love franchising. I love working with entrepreneurs. I find it very rewarding, knowing that you've had a small part to play in someone, kind of realizing their personal and, professional dreams. Also just seeing, great people like Alan and Chad who are on the team, newer to the industry and kind of, getting traction and taking on, more and more responsibilities and enjoying, what franchising has to offer as far as a career. It's just terrific.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're coming at us. No one can see your tropical background because of your tech issues in the camera. But yeah, you're in sunny Destin, Florida right now.
I'm in sunny Destin, Florida. Sun is out. Water is calm and clear.
You say that you're wearing a tie. I am going to call BS on this. I'm just saying I expect better. I mean, our guests expect better. I'm saying. I'm giving you grief.
No,
Chad,
bring it on. 1 Hour has big shoulders. We could take it.
Oh, come on. Okay, well played.
There you go.
Chad, who are you, man? What do you do?
Hey, thanks for having us, Ryan. So my name is Chad Harrison. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and as we were talking about the postcard of the United States here. And what I do, I'm on the front end. Just before Michael will get in touch with them, I'll reach out to candidates and touch base with them, get a feel for sense for them, make sure it's the right fit. And my background is actually restaurant sales for 15 years, restaurant management / restaurant sales. But getting into this franchising, like Alan was saying, absolutely love it. And it is exciting to talk to somebody that jumps on the phone with you and is excited to get into, to change their life and to get into a business on their own, change their income. I mean, like Alan was saying, family time, getting more family time. Sometimes they're working with their wife in the business. So, yeah. And we've got, Mr. Michael Hutchins here, who's got water up to his neck and, on the beach, and he's our guru, man. He's our go-to.
It's a rough life living on the beach like that, though, man. Like, people think it's all like rainbows and unicorns, but it's a lot tougher.
It is. It's, suntan lotion and coconuts.
You can get burnt out there.
You can. It's dangerous out there. Yes.
Seriously, it's wild. So I'm really glad that we get all three of us, or all four of us, I guess, together on the same time, because that's nuts on its own. And it's really cool what you guys do, because part of what you do is actively look for ways. And Alan, this is something you mentioned, to like help find people and give them the tools and resources and opportunity to reach a goal that they've had for themselves that otherwise they might not have had the opportunity to do on their own. Because starting out a business on your own from scratch and hanging your own shingle, it's a hell of a lot of work, and it's stressful and it's daunting. And what you guys talk about doing is essentially taking all the experience of all the brands and helping people put those into place so that they can have the success that other operators have had. Tell me, and I guess I don't know if anyone wants to take this. What is it about when you start having those first conversations with people, when they tell you this is what they're interested in, this is what they're curious about, and they want to discover more? What are some of those light bulbs that you like to see go off in them that you feel like, this person gets it, this is absolutely the type of person we're looking for to partner with? Like, what sort of either personalities or like character or grit or drive components do you guys look for and things like that?
So I'll jump on. Essentially, I am a lot of these candidates' first point of contact. I'm out there searching these people out on LinkedIn. I'm calling current HVAC company owners or technicians, and with the whole blue collar trade, you deal with a lot of different type of personalities. Whereas there's some that kind of want to build that relationship, some of them that are a little bit more rough and tough, old school blue collar type people. Some of the light bulbs I'm looking for is hearing somebody that really has a passion for HVAC, but they're struggling finding employees, they're having a hard time marketing themselves, and that's something I love to hear, because we have a solution for those problems there. Our company is just so massive, and it comes with such a network of just a proven network that works for business owners, to take away those headaches and to stop wearing 15 hats,
Right. That's a huge deal. Michael, I'm curious, given your background and kind of your role, how would you augment anything Alan just mentioned?
Sure. Alan is spot on. And, we do conversions, which, Alan was really kind of referring to. You've got someone out there that is just, working as hard as they possibly can, but they're not an expert. They're not an expert in marketing or management, building their team, etc. And then you can, plug in our resources. And just in the last 6 months, I mean, we have 5 new, locations, conversions that they've already added more staff. Like they're out of the truck and they're working on the business. And, Alan had a big part of that. We also work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, actually, the vast majority of the people coming to 1 Hour are not from within this industry. They like that it's an essential service. They like the high return on investment, relatively short ramp up period. Last year alone, I mean, I had someone in med school, a NASCAR pilot, engineers, IT, finance, attorney, several women. None of them were looking to, do this to get into the truck. So obviously a background in HVAC is not a key attribute for success. What I look for is someone who's really demonstrating that they have the ability and the desire to follow the system. It's already been successfully replicated hundreds of times across the country. And I love entrepreneurs, but there is a fine line between an entrepreneur and a franchisee. I mean, you're paying for this system, and just understanding that it's important that they follow it. The other thing that I look at, and this is really 1 hour specific because I want to set people up for success. But our model, our business, this is really about building a team, creating a culture, having your technicians aligned towards the same common goal. And so, and I'm pretty good at what I do is along with my team, but we want to set people up for success. If someone is not going to be comfortable, if they're not that coach, type of individual, this may not be the right vehicle for them, or they can go semi-absentee. We support both business, models, and they bring on someone who's going to be engaged, have weekly team meetings, because, without that, something else may be a better opportunity for them. So I kind of focus in on, just understanding that they're going to be a good fit culturally and they're going to follow the system. But then as an individual as well, do they have what it takes to be, the team leader and to pull everyone together? And because in order to grow revenue in this business, you've got to add vehicles and staff and service more people each and every day, recruit and retain. And those are really kind of the two key ingredients. There's more, but those are high on the priority list.
Yeah, totally. And what's interesting though is like even the way you're thinking about it, because so many people, especially people who are like really entrepreneurial, so they've got this high like kickstart score or quick start. If you use like a Colby assessment sort of grading, right? Where like they have an idea, they're going to go out and do it. They might not follow through with the idea, but at least they have this light bulb and they want to chase the next shiny thing. And so much of what you're talking about is like you need the discipline to like just do the things, like follow the steps, do the process. That's what you're getting access to. And like, so I'm curious, like, so Chad, for you, your background is interesting because food and bev, like all things in the restaurant space, for a lot of people on the outside, it looks like they don't always, like there's not a lot of direct things on the surface. People might be able to say, hey, those industries correlate, or there's value that you learned in your background that influences like home services. I happen to know actually someone on our team. She's a business coach, but she at the pinnacle of her restaurant career, owned a restaurant, had 300 employees, like in this chain of restaurants. But I know from her experience that she's learned a lot about management and cash flow and all these things that on the surface don't make you think that it would apply to the trades, but absolutely does. So given this sort of conversation, what sort of like, how does your background in that space help you shape the future of these franchises also?
That's a great question. I suppose it comes down to, that interaction, the communication you're having and being able to listen in, as everyone always, you always hear, listen more than you talk. And in this case, see exactly what they're looking for. In some cases, maybe it's a different brand. Maybe it's not the right direction, but to listen into them and have that connection, make that connection initially before even Mike or will connect with them, and to be able to develop that relationship. I guess that's probably the biggest point is relationship building for sure in the restaurant business, and then of course a connection to franchising and with 1 hour. I think, and I'm sure your colleague can agree with this. Is I think if you can survive the restaurant business, you can survive anywhere. It's a tough business.
It
is, and it certainly irons you out. But that's probably the number one thing is relationship building and being able to make that connection initially. And our conversation on our end can be as short as 15 minutes in some cases. So those are the important things, is listening and then making that connection with them.
For somebody who's like listening now, and maybe they've tried doing their own business, but maybe they've struggled. Maybe they've struggled with a lot of the process development and like building up the SOPs, or to the point you were making earlier, Michael, like they've struggled like attracting the right talent and retaining the right talent. Because I mean, let's be honest, a lot of guys start their business because they either got tired of watching their boss take these really long boss man lunches, or they just got tired of the work environment. The business acumen part might not have been a strong skill set, but they have the mechanical skills. They can turn a wrench like no one's business. So if someone's listening to this right now, but they've done that, they've turned a wrench, they decided to go into to do it themselves, but but they just don't feel like they're getting the traction, and they might want to look at a franchise model as something that can solve their problems, because outside looking in, it's got like everything you would need to be successful with a really strong brand, with really strong capabilities, with really strong processes. What sort of things do you feel like the people who are like on that fence, like that they are likely to go over to want to talk to you and have that 15-minute call? What sort of traits or attributes do you think those people have? Like, are there certain like experience levels, or the certain things like, hey, these people really have the type of drive that we want to focus on? Or is it really just, hey, you'd like to have as many conversations as possible to kind of keep that opportunity broad for a lot of people?
We are selective. I want happy, successful franchisees. Not everyone who wants to become, part of the 1 Hour family is granted access. It's not the right fit for a variety of reasons. Alan does a great job. He'll talk to people, and he knows, what we're looking for. Chad the same way. If someone wants to grow and they've been working hard, they've been doing this for years, and they're still at 1 vehicle, 2 vehicles, they're working 12-hour days, and they're still living paycheck to paycheck, even though they're the owner, and they can't work any harder, and they want to, they want to grow this business. They haven't given up. They've persevered. They keep doing it. They're passionate about it. We can absolutely help them. I mean, I'm not an expert in marketing. I tell them, I don't need to know if billboards are going to be effective where you live or not. Neither do you. We're going to take care of that. Recruitment. We've got several automatic funnels. We're very good at helping people, build their teams. The owner in my hometown started off with himself and 2 vehicles. He's up to 177 employees, 60 some odd trucks, largest contractor in the Panhandle. As a company, we have a 5% tech turnover rate. So for the most part, they find a home, but it's also because, we have, high grade owners, and our system really works well. So in finance, knowing your numbers. I don't enjoy Excel spreadsheets either, but you need to know where your numbers are. And we provide ongoing support in operations. Everything that happens from the time the phone rings until when the money is in your bank. Marketing. Not only do we attract new customers, we build fences around your existing ones once you're engaged with them. Management. Anything related to, people, recruiting, training, and retaining your staff. And finance. We have proprietary software systems that really is the only tool these individuals will need to manage every financial aspect of their business. And we have coaches that we assign to them that work with them in all of these aspects on an ongoing basis. And these coaches are held accountable. We establish a 5-year budget business plan for any of these new owners. And then we work together towards meeting and exceeding those goals. And, I can't tell you how many, you can't just measure success by financial success. I have some owners that like to stay in one territory. They like managing a smaller staff. I have others, it's Pinky taking over the world. There's not enough.
Great reference.
We had someone who just sold, still in his 30s. Last year, he started in the warehouse, sold his business for $108 million last year. Got it up to about 37 territories. Had another owner, just examples that, people are utilizing the system and, following it. And no matter how big you get, you don't lose track of the basics. And the model works, and it's proven itself. But those are the kind of the things, attitude, I'm happier, recruiting for attitude, and then they could take advantage of all of our benefits and resources.
Attitude's such a huge deal. Nobody talks
Absolutely.
about it. That is a huge, huge deal. So are there any cases if somebody is, and I'm curious, and I might sound like an idiot right now, so bear with me here, because you guys represent a huge family of brands. Like, obviously, a lot of people know the 1 Hour, a lot of people know the Mr. Sparky, a lot of people know like the Benjamin Franklin, but you have other brands also that are outside of just plumbing, HVAC, electrical. Do you have many cases where someone would have multiple franchises that they're running for these different industries also? Or is it typically like one guy does one lane and that's it? He focuses on Mr. Sparky and that's his focus.
Well, when we go to conferences, we go as authority brands, and, it's really the umbrella of the company. It is a growth strategy. You can certainly start with one territory with 1 Hour and then add a second, third, but you can also layer on other brands. And it doesn't just have to be the other trade brands, Mr. Sparky, Ben Franklin. I mean, I have two attorneys. One is in New York, one's in St. Louis. They both signed last year. In New York, he had a swimming pool. He decided to go on and open an America's swimming pool. He loves pools, and, we want to own the home inside and out of authority brands. So, we've added maybe 4 new companies, I think, so far this year. We're looking at more. I had another, attorney in, I was mentioning in St. Louis. He owns Airbnb. So he purchased a cleaning authority franchise because there was a fit in his mind of, now that I'm kind of part of this family, what else can I do? And people do have preferences, but I probably have 30 owners that have all 3 of the trades. And then I have, more that have 2. Primary reason is, someone already had the other one in their market and they couldn't acquire the third one. And I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I mean, I just remember those 2 because they had only just opened, their 1 Hours. And then they already saw the value of, hey, I'm marketing to the same homeowner. Now it's another service I can provide. And we actually help, facilitate that.
Yeah. And I think anytime you have a platform that lets you like cross sell to different services, like HVAC into cleaning, right? These things are really helpful. And anyone who's multi-trade with like plumbing and HVAC, they already know, and cross-selling across different divisions of a company is fantastic. It's really nice that you can also support this from like a franchise level also.
Absolutely. We promote it. And, we just held an event that was based around this. We were in Dallas about a month ago. Rooftop, nice hotel, downtown Dallas. We invited all of our owners that, were in the area out of our 16 brands to come and network and meet one another so that, they could really start taking advantages of, those synergies and working together. But, and we definitely support it and we promote it.
Alan, I'm curious from you because you actually came from the trades, right? Like your electrical background, like you have a unique perspective that, like, no offense to Michael and Chad, they don't have that same sort of like perspective that you bring into it. So I'm curious, like for you, what has it been like watching these contractors, these operators kind of start out maybe nervous, maybe excited, like having the initial conversations? I could imagine being a lot like dating, like, ooh, this is fun, exciting, but then there's a little bit of nerves, like, oh, the commitment's getting real. And then like once things get going, what has it been like for you to watch the success so many of these franchises have had that you have personally seen?
So I'll tell you a story that kind of will help answer that. When I first got started in working for Authority Brands, I had a lot of questions. So I actually reached out to some of our current owners and kind of asked them like, hey, how's it going? Like I'm from the field, like, talk to me like I'm a tradesman, and they loved it. They loved the support that comes along with owning one of our franchises. It's a one system deal. And I want to say one of the biggest compliments that I've heard from them is just the help with employees. You know, because finding like Michael was talking about, that 5% employee turnaround rate, that's unbelievable. You know, in the trades, people are dropping like rocks. You know, people don't like to work hard these days, and for us to have such a high or such a low percentage is, like I said, it's unbelievable. You know, so it's rewarding. It's rewarding to hear, you know, like my old brotherhood and sisterhood actually succeeding. You know, because there's so many companies out there, like Michael was saying, that are struggling and just pulling their hair out. And it's a really breath of fresh air to hear somebody that's actually enjoying the work.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I'm curious, and I want to ask this of each of you guys. If somebody's listening, if they're on the fence, if there's like one point of encouragement or one sort of like just direction or something you want to say to inspire someone to take another step forward, to consider franchising, to consider reaching out and like booking a 15-minute call. Like if someone's like wrestling with it, been thinking about it, but I'm curious for each one of you, if you don't mind, like what one thing would you say to someone to help sway them off the fence to reach out, book a call, take a next step in building their own future in this system? And Michael, do you mind if I start with you?
No, not at all. I would, you know, again, Alan and Chad are, you know, primarily the first point of contact, but I would ask that individual to, you know, give us 15 minutes of their time and let them know that they are not a pioneer in this. I would want them to contact and talk to other people that were just in their shoes 6 months ago, a year ago, you know, that are now part of the 1 Hour family, that had 1 truck, 2 trucks, that, you know, were, whatever their situation is, I will give them the personal cell phone number of owners that have the same experience, and they can have conversations. I will not participate in any of those calls, and talk to these people about their perspective and how they feel about, you know, what life has been like since they joined 1 Hour. That would be the number one thing. You know, I'll send you the information, I'll walk you through everything, but talk to some other people just like yourself, and then, you know, we'll have some other conversations. That's
well said. How about you, Chad?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to Michael's point, I was actually speaking with one of our franchisees, and they started maybe about 7 months ago. And I mean, they're doing great. They're killing it. And it's impressive. Nursing background. The other gentleman was from the trade. And, you know, they sit down and they're telling us this, that they sit down in the morning and they still look at each other across the table at breakfast. And they're like, oh my God, we're doing it. You know, so I mean, as simple as it sounds, she said, just go for it. Take the chance, take the opportunity. Obviously doing that research and making sure you understand the model and the brand, but she said, just do it. You know, that's what they did. They took that chance, and now they're with each other as a couple more during the day and the week, and a family, and the income improved. So just take that leap.
Well said. Really well said. Alan, how about you, man?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of them, man, it's I was on that call that Chad was just talking about, and she got me all fired up. She's like, just go for it, guys. And I was like, I'm gonna go for it. It's just got me so amped up. But
yeah,
you know, I would just say, like, hey, this is just a discussion. You know, this is just a discussion. Let's see, let's answer whatever question you may have. You know, we have lots of testimonials that'll back up what we're saying here, which I think testimonials truly speak for themselves.
Oh, totally. It's one thing to hear somebody like who officially represents a company or an organization to be like, we are amazing, because you're going to say that, right? But to hear other people who have personally experienced the impact of what it's been like to partner with Authority Brands, like in any one of the franchise systems, like how cool to see their personal sort of experience of like, this is what happened to their life. It's not BS. They're not paid to say those things. It's that authenticity is powerful. Guys, I love that we are able to to like get all three of you together, because it's clear like this is a really good platform. It's a really good opportunity for people who want to be able to take this next step. If somebody did want to book a 15-minute call, is the best thought just to go to your website, schedule it there? What's the best first step for somebody who wants to reach out to you and have just that initial discussion?
Yeah, they can go on onehourheatingandair.com as a franchise business owner. They can, and it'll come directly to us, and we'll reach right out to them.
That's awesome, guys. I loved having you on. Like, congrats on the success. I can't wait to see more people reach out to you to take advantage of this opportunity. And even though you're all in like 3 different locations, thanks for syncing up schedules, taking the time to stop by and talk with us. This is a lot of fun.
No, our pleasure. Thank you again for having us. And, we look forward to speaking with, a member of your audience here in the near future.
Thank you, Ryan.
Let's do it.
Yes,
hit these guys up.
This episode was hosted by Ryan Redding, author of the book on digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors, and founder of Levergy, the digital marketing solution for serious home service companies. You can subscribe to Blue Collar CEO on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit us online at bluecollar.ceo and find us on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another awesome episode. See you soon.